Hi, this is Anthony Douglas for case study EDL 851 for educational supervision. In this case study, we're introduced to Mrs. Wilson, who's the principal at Crestview Elementary, and her first grade teacher, Mrs. Horton, is a third year teacher. However, over time and over the past 3 years, she's had some time to get to know Miss Horton. And recently, since summer's come about, Mrs. Horton has frequently came to school during vacation and holidays. She was kind of the teacher who everybody wanted. However, after the third year, Miss Wilson suddenly became different, and her attitude began to start to bother Mrs. Wilson. Miss Horton began to receive parent complaints. She received student complaints, and by the end of the year, with that incident, the principal, had problems with the teacher over and over again. Well, it comes to find out, Mrs. Horton and her husband have gone separate ways, and over time, that Mrs. Horton has started taking it out on the kids and started receiving some verbal abuse and threats, supposedly, from her. And she, through the investigation, Mrs. Wilson never found any of those to be valid, but the superintendent was informed by a board member that Miss Horton had made a comment to some of the students, and that one of the board members' children was scared to attend school, in particular her class. And they wanted her out of Miss Horton's class immediately. Although there's a process, the board member was upset and told them that they wanted her out now. She screams at, and the quote was, she screams at all the children. And Miss Horton attended a meeting, and it didn't go too well between the board member, Miss Horton, and Miss Wilson. And Miss Horton ended up screaming about them lying and screaming that all she does is get embarrassed, and it didn't go too well. So now Miss Wilson is stuck in a situation. Well, we have to figure this out and how to deal with it through board policy, union policy, as well as what's best for kids. So what do we know? We know that Crestview is Miss Wilson is the principal at Crestview. Miss Horton is the first grade teacher. We also know that there's been these complaints from not just board members' children or board members and parents in general, but as a whole, there's a group of people who are complaining about Miss Horton as a teacher. What do we need to find out? We need to find out what it is that's driving her, or what's leading to these accusations, and if they're true, and how we as administration can help her. Also, not just help her maybe mentally, personally, but also in her professional development and how she can handle the situation. Because she's going to have to rebuild relationships with the children as well as with the parents. So what's our plan? We have a 3-point plan. First one is just to talk to Mrs. Horton, check on her, see what she needs, see how she's doing. Maybe team her up with somebody that's able to talk to her and help her understand the situation that at home does happen, and we're very sorry and deeply sorry about it. But her job is to make sure kids are safe, kids are educated, and they're treated fairly, and to make sure she gets that. Maybe there's a situation we could help her seek counseling through professional counseling in the district, as well as through her insurance. Maybe there's a way to help her deal with that emotional stress in her life. And the big thing that we have to do for her is to make sure there's some professional development where she's able to understand how to handle those situations, but also how to rebuild relationships with those kids and how to handle the stress at home and bring it into the classroom. So in resolving the situation, making sure we promote all success for all kids, there's 3 parts of the plan that we need to resolve. Number 1 is mend the relationships with the parents and kids and her students in particular. There's a lot of trust issues broken. There's going to be a lot of questions as to why she's still in the classroom or what's being done on the administrative side. If we move one student, why are we moving another? In some districts, if you move a student, you still have to have a parent meeting between the parent, the student, the teacher, and the administrator. If that's the situation, how can we help mend those relationships? We can't just move kids around to move kids around. Maybe provide more walkthroughs and check-ins with Miss Horton more frequently. Maybe have a sit-down meeting with her more often so that she's able to talk through the issues and maybe see how we as administrators can help her deal with this balance of home as well as the stress from work. Third part of our promotion here for Success for All students is to assess her teaching to make sure that she's still effective, to make sure that she is still reaching kids and teaching them the way she was those first 3 years when she came to Crestview. Also, to maybe help with a mental assessment and helping her understand the stress level and maybe what can we do to make sure her mental assessment and her stress level are baseline and they're more keel and that she's able to reach kids more effectively. So debriefing, I felt that there was three real frustrations as I read this whole article. The first one was the frustration with Miss Horton. Very frustrated with the teacher for reflecting her personal life on her students. Yes, we all have it. Yes, it happens, but don't bring it in the classroom. Try not to, and especially don't take it out on kids. First graders don't understand to begin with what you're doing or what you're saying, but then to really put it on them isn't fair or right. I'd be really frustrated with myself for not seeing her stress level go up and really not doing my job to make sure that she's doing okay. I felt like maybe as a principal, there could have been a better relationship between her and Mrs. Wilson, and the fact that she could check on her more frequently and do a better job in making sure she was okay personally as well. I felt there was a frustration. I felt really frustrated for the students to the point where they don't want to come to school or they're crying. No kid should ever feel that way with any classroom, and especially in first grade in that situation. So I felt it really wasn't fair to those kids at all. So as I reflect on standard two, I felt like there was really three areas we could really look at: the teacher's ability to teach effectively, the student's ability to learn, and how can we enhance student achievement. In order to make sure there's effective instruction, we have to have effective teachers. If the teacher's not effective in the classroom, then there's no effective instruction. We have to make sure that teacher is not stressful, not worn out, not irritated, but they're able to have effective instruction to those kids and do their job and do it well. Taxpayers, stakeholders, students, administrators, other teachers expect them all to do the job right and do it well and do it effectively. There has to be an ability to learn. The students that come to our class that are stressed or crying or upset emotionally don't have the ability to learn. Every kid should have the ability to learn in that situation. Whatever your personal life's going on at home, they still have the ability to learn. It's still right for them to have that right to learn as well. And everything that rolls around enhancing student achievement. If there's professional development that needs to change, if there's change of placement, if there's a change in teachers that needs to change, whatever it is, everything needs to revolve around making sure student enhancement is increased. Even when her stress level's up, Ms. Horton needs to increase the enhancement and increase the achievement for the student.